Well, well, well. Feels good. I just finished listening to speakers that I haven't turned on in quite a while. I think it's like the wattage on them is like 5,000 watts in a small room that's 11 by 11 feet. And it's like, put it like this, it's like hearing the music for the first time. It's like hearing the music for the first time. I listen to old classics such as Muddy Waters. Um, I listen to some Etta James. I listen to some Barry White. I listen to oh God, some of the new stuff too. Um, 50 Cent and all of that. Well, it's not really new, but you get a chance to listen to it. It just sounds really good, and it was really nice. The sound was incredible. Two, each speaker, I think it's about. Well, I know what it is. I'm looking at it. It's 2,500 watts. Together, 5,000 watts. And the sounds is all around you, and it's got you encased in just music. Um, and I said I listen to that before I start my gardening tonight. I'm doing some stuff with my garden tonight, and I looked at this here. This is about I will guesstimate around I guess about a pound. It's right here, about a pound, and it's kind of expensive nowadays. Kind of expensive. Yes, my secret to my um, growing my plants, and I only use that on. I don't. At one point, it was cheap to get it, but it's not cheap anymore. But I enjoyed. Oh, hello, how you doing? All right. Morning garden show. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping by. That's pretty good. Some people stop by and still remember that I still do the show. Plant abundant. Oh man, abundance. I watch your channel. I watch your channel. Very good. I watch your channel. Um, but the thing I like about your channel is that everything you put on there is easy to understand. All you have to do is listen. Oh, okay. Thank you. Smash the like, y'all. Okay, smash the like button. I thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm gonna tell you something. This year, I'm growing. I'm growing a little bit of everything, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that uh, the country's at war, and then on top of that, the prices of everything is going up. Um, Bought some grapes today, and they were like I think about $7 for one bag. Um, and and I'm waiting on the weather to break because um, I want to put some more grapevines in, um, to kind of up the number of grapevines that I have. And then there's one that I left in a pot all winter, and I hope that it's still alive. It's called oh, I can't remember the name of it. It's a big green grape, seedless, and I bought it at where did I buy it? I'm not putting their name out there, but I bought it at Stock Brothers, and when I bought it there, the grape is called Neptune. I think that's the name of it. Let me see. I'll look it up because that's the best way to do it. This grape got my attention because the way they worded it, it said uh, a big white grape. And I said, okay, well, the buzzword is big. Everybody wants to buy stuff that's big for the most part. And let's see, Stock Brothers. And Stock Brothers. There we go. And I have to buy another diverter for my water barrels because I'm not going to use water from the city this year because I didn't have the part that I needed. I found the part I needed, and it just go to show some of the bigger companies sometimes have it. It's on it's a diverter, and it fits in the 2x3 squared drain pipe, and they sell it at Amazon. So I found it. I finally found it, and I never ordered it until I found the one I wanted. And see, these are the pages, things that are on Stock Brothers. Some of the things that are there, um, and I'm looking for when you look on here, you're gonna look for berry plants, and that's due to berry plants like grapes and stuff would also be under that. Grapevines. There we go. And the vine I'm looking for, there it is. I was right. Um, Neptune. Neptune was the name of the grape. But this one here is $24. When I bought it, it was 12. That was still back during that time. That was considered high for a grapevine because if you look at a grapevine, it's nothing more than just um, a stick that they cut and stuck it in some soil, and then when it rooted, they put it in a bag and sold it. So that's it right there. And this grape is looks like a large grape. And I made a mistake when I purchased it. Put it in a flower pot, and I got busy and tied up doing things, and did not take it out. So all winter long, when it got down to 6 degrees and 20 degrees and all of that, it was in that pot. And I like to usually have things in the ground when winter comes in. I like to have it in the ground so the ground doesn't get as cold as the pot will. That's my thinking on that. Stock Brothers is a great company in my experience. That's absolutely right because they had it set up where um, if you have a problem with the product, you call them up. I had one lady. She's on YouTube, and she says, "Hi, growing up something," and it's an older woman. And so I bought something from a site one time. It was called a red globe grape. And when I bought it, I had an issue with the thing. It died. And so I called them up. I said, "Hello, listen." And she said, "Didn't you read the instructions? Didn't you read the instructions? Did you read the instructions?" I said, "Miss, listen, I did not look through all of that. You're right. I should have read the instructions." I said, "But you're saying that I got to pay you X number of dollars to ship it back and forward and everything." I said, that's not a good thing for me. So she said, "Well," and then she giggled and laughed it off like it was funny. So at any rate, I found another place that had that same grape, and I ordered from there and was fine. And they told me, if you have any issues with the plant, please get in touch with us as soon as possible, and hold on to your receipt and all that good stuff. That's what they told me. Had no issue with standing behind their product because they know that plants, trees, vines, they're going to die sometime. You're sending them through the mail. Um, the so yeah. So I hope when the weather changes that grapevine starts budding out. If it does, I'm set. It will come out of that pot. It will go in the ground. I will put plenty of compost around it because I do have a tree that was well about a tree and a half that was cut down on my yard, and I told them to grind it up and leave it on the property, and they did. And Food Farmers Permaculture, some of you are very familiar with him, and he said, take the tree and let it just sit there for a year. The wood chips just sit for a year, because I see you got a lot of ivy in that. It was what? No, it wasn't ivy. It was some kind of vine. And I got them on my property, a very invasive vine. They go right up the tree and they choke the tree out. So he said, don't put that in your garden. You want to let it sit and just let it just die out. Neptune cedars looks good. I might have to pick one up. All right. I'll just wait for the video when it comes out. When you put it in the ground, we'll put it in a container. I like grapes, and the bigger the grape, but I don't like grapes that have like that thick skin on them. Because I think I grew something like that one time, and didn't realize at the time this was a wine grape. And I put it in the ground. I grew it, and it was beautiful, and it produced grapes, but it just didn't like eating that thick skin. And now I got corn. I'm doing the Three Sister thing this year. Beans, corn, pumpkins. I have all these seeds. I have tons of seeds. That's going to be a favorite on my property. And then I'm doing also okra, because I like that burgundy okra. I went online. I bought a pack of seeds, and I'm gonna start them indoors. And then take them out and put them in the ground, because okra seed to me didn't always start very well when I put them in the ground. I just like to make sure that they're plants when they go in the ground, so it's no big problem. I have the room, I have the ability to do that. And collard greens, kale, Swiss chard, things like that is going to be put in on the property, and I will do that because eating greens is very good for you. Peppers, Big Jim peppers. They're going to be one that's hot on the list. There will not be any tilling, any digging, or anything like that going on my property. If I dig anything, it's going to be a hole about like that for the plant to go in. It will not be holes, big holes. I bought something called weed fabric. I bought the really good weed fabric. And I said to myself, wait a minute. After I got it, I said, wait, I don't want to use this. I said, because I want to take care of my soil. I don't want to cover it up. And if I do cover it, I won't put any holes through the weed fabric. I'm just going to lay it out and try to get down some of the weeds, and then take it off, and then use the ground. Because weed fabric is good for blocking weeds if you get the right kind. Don't get the kind from the box stores that will rot away as soon as the sun hit them. You want a really good quality weed fabric, and you want to use a torch on it to cut it. Oh, okay. You're asking me. Okay, all righty. Let's see. Let's see what this is, because I know today I went out, it was raining, and we got some more rain coming this week. But as far as let's look at the temperature. And the temperature here now. Oh, and I put in a cherry tree, a sweet cherry tree, again from Stock Brothers, that doesn't need a pollinator. It's a sweet cherry, but it does better if you have a pollinator. And so I did that. Okay, let's get this weather thing here. Okay, it's 40 degrees a night. And usually the other few nights we had it was 30s, but now it's 40 degrees a night. Tomorrow's Monday. The high is expected to be 47 degrees. Um, then it's going to go down to 39. And then Tuesday's going to go up to 54, 55 the next day, 67 on Thursday. So we're hovering around those temperatures. Then it dives back down at night, 38 degrees, 35 degrees. Yeah, so it's not ready yet to put stuff out there. We just had a hailstorm. We had one today too, but it was the stuff was the size of rice. Uh, yeah, it was earlier part of the day when I was out shopping. Yeah, but I got to tell you, I'm truly. Good evening. Hello, how you doing? All right, people are stopping by there. Uh, yes, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, there you go. He spoke to before I got a chance to say it. He went ahead and spoke. That's good. But I got to tell you, I hope that everybody gets really involved in the garden this year. I hope they really do because me, I'm not like I said before. There will be no digging, and no heavy digging, all that stuff. Those are the old days. Back in the old days, how I used to do it. I don't do that no more. There's a gardener that is on YouTube. I will not call her name, but I feel bad for her sometimes. I see her out there and she's just digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. And I'm looking at her out there. She's winded, a young woman, about in her 30s. And I see her digging and digging. I'm looking at that saying, that used to be me. She's moving compost piles. She's restacking compost piles. She's digging up her soil. And I'm watching it and I'm going, oh my goodness. I said, that's hard work. When you dig in your soil, you absolutely damage your soil. You do damage to your soil. And that's not a good thing. So I tell people, um, you want to start your season door if you have a short growing season. You take them out there and you put just enough movement of the soil to put the seed in the ground, or if you're putting a plant in the ground, put it in there. Um, and you want to, and I use my grass clippings to mulch around the plant, to mulch around the plant. And I bought a lawnmower just for that purpose with a bag on it, a bagger, same thing. Um, and so I did that because I want to not have to go out and buy hay or straw or be dependent on the tree trimmers to come to my property if they're in the area. So I said, use the grass clippings because the grass clippings, I have a lot of them when I do cut my grass, and I do also have uh, the bagger, um, and they'll do the job, and it's nothing but fertilizer when you put it around plants. Um, you put them 2 inches deep around the base of the plant, and they don't do nothing but bring up all this biology in that location. The soil is cooled down. It stayed. The soil is absolutely cool, and it's fertilized, and it's moist right up under that, and that's what you want. That's what you want. You want to make certain that your plants have everything they need and want to survive because that makes it easier on them. When you stress plants out, they react a certain way. They don't won't produce as much, or they won't produce at all. Um, the most important thing out of all of the things that you do in your garden uh, is 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 watering. That's the most important thing you do in your garden, and you get that right. You must get that right because if you don't, what will happen is even if you do a side dressing of certain fertilizers, whether it be compost or whether it be uh, what they call it, um, organic fertilizer, if you put that around your plant, let's say you put it around your plant, it's still not going to get to the plant until you turn it into a liquid form. So you want to do that. You want to make certain that it's just a liquid form. Um, and water to make sure your plant stays hydrated properly. And also that when you water it, it gets to eat at the same time. You don't want to overwater and you don't want to underwater. And when you get a certain regimen of what is based on your location, what is needed, once you get that right, you're going to start seeing you produce more peppers, more tomatoes. You won't have blossoming rot on your tomatoes. A lot of times that's due to the fact that it's not being watered properly. And you want to make sure you do that most important thing, which is um, getting the watering correct, getting that correct. That's urgent. That's important. Absolutely, that's important. You must get that straight. Um, you can't water correctly one week and then say, "Oh, I'll get to it next." No, if you're watering once a week and you'll water a little more based on the size of the plant or the weather conditions. If you got rain 3 days in a row, of course you're not going to go out there and mess with the plants and try to water anything. You're going to wait until your plant needs that water, and then you go out there and you can stick your finger that far into the ground and check and see how much moisture is right at the root of that plant, and that'll give you a good indication whether or not you should water it or not. They have tools that you use. I have a little gauge that you can poke in the ground and it give you an idea how much moisture is there. But I still trust my finger. I do. But I went to. Oh, I got to tell you this. Let me see something here. I went to the store and I purchased some. Good evening, everyone's. Everyone's. All right now. Good to see you. Good to see you. I got people coming in here now, and it's not gonna. Some people know me. Some people don't know me. I'm a relatively new gardener. Been around for a little while. But I will say this is that I'm doing garlic this year. I went to an Asian store. If you're going to do any, if you're going to do any, what they call a ginger, if you're going to plant any ginger this year, get it at the Asian stores because here in Maryland, you can really, truly pay an arm and a leg for ginger. But I found that when I went to the Asian stores, uh, that you can get more ginger for the same price. And I'm going to put in a lot of ginger this year. And I'm putting in all this ginger is because number one, as I said before, the country's at war. These prices are not reached their limit yet. They're going to keep going up. We're going to have to share seeds. We're going to have to also save seeds. Hey, I finally got you live. Oh, finally got me live. Thank you. Thank you for trying to get me live there, Mr. Miller. Yes. And get when you get the proper amount of ginger and get it in the ground and get it growing, ginger likes water. Make sure it stays watered, and mulch it on top. Very important to keep that. If you grow it in a container, especially if you're growing in a container, if you're growing in the ground, mulch it and make sure that you keep water at it. Make sure that you keep it fertilized, and you could do that with grass clippings, like I said earlier. And you want to do that because ginger will grow and grow and grow and give you a lot of ginger if you know if you give it what it needs. If you give it what it needs, it's gonna look out for you. Ginger will help you with all kind of ailments. Some of you out there, how many? No, I mean, I say how many of y'all got high blood pressure, but it helps lower blood pressure. It helps keep your body moving in the right direction away from cancers, certain cancers. You want to make certain that you you read up on ginger first of all, and check with your doctor if you have any concerns whether or not it's good for you. Check with your doctor. Check with your doctor. Let's see. Ginger is very good. Yes, it is. Hey, look, I once rode about 3 weeks ago in a car with an Uber driver. He was from Africa, and he said when he drinks his ginger tea, he doesn't put any sugar or any honey in it. He just drinks it like it is. He said, "Where I'm from," he said, we drink it like it is." He said, "Because we also drink beer that's like Guinea."
They're called bionic boomers. Seniors once
And this is wait a minute, is this what I want to show you?
riddled with debilitating arthritis pain, given a new lease on life thanks to Dr. Paris's unusual.
Sorry about the noise, folks. Let me just get this right.
The transformations have been.
And let me see if I got a video.
Ginger is a tropical plant
that I put up because I definitely got crazy with this. Is some of the ginger that I purchased. I hope you can see this. It's on a video that I have on my site, and it's laid out on the table, and it's a whole bunch of ginger. This is just one shopping trip, and then I went and got some more, and all of this together. This is about 6 pounds. Then I got other trip was about 5 pounds, all for about $10 in the Asian stores. You could actually take your Google Asian stores and then go there and say, or you can call them first to save some gas and say, "Hey, do you have any ginger?" And they say, "Yeah, we have ginger." Morning Gardener, I did the same thing. Oh, okay, you did the same thing. All right. Yeah, great minds think alike. That's ginger. And right now, it's in a bucket downstairs in the mud room, in a dark room. It's in a potting soil mix that I make, and the ginger is in a moist water, not wet in the bucket. It's in moistness, and it's just sitting there. And what happened to the ginger is that it got harder because at first it had a couple of wrinkles here and there, and it got harder, and it's really like it's pressing up against the outer skin of the ginger, just getting ready to pop because it's ready to start growing. So I don't have to do nothing to it. It just simply wait until the weather changes here and get about 50-degree temperatures at night, and then I can start thinking about putting the ginger outside. Consistent temperatures around 50 degrees at night, and I can start putting things out there. I am totally psyched when it comes to ginger because I know how to grow ginger. With my first experience with ginger, in Plant Abundant, I did go to your page and I liked the ginger um, videos you did. I think it was one that I saw. I think I saw one, and I saw it and I said, "Oh, now he simplified it." He said, "This is what I do, and I don't put it in too deep, and it goes in about this many inches down in the soil, and I make sure that I put the things on there. Like some people use worm casting, some people use compost, some people use a combination of that plus organic um, fertilizer, and they put that on there. And when that ginger gets a hold of that stuff, it has no choice but to grow. But to grow. Homesteaded. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Keep it moist is the key. Absolutely. That's the key. And today they've been in there now in the bucket for about I say about a little over 2 weeks. I say 2 weeks. And I thought I'd dig down in there and see how it looked. And I pulled up a piece and I looked at it. I said, these look better now than they did when I bought them. Because when I bought them, they were suffering from sitting out on the counter for days and just sitting there. I get them, soak them overnight. That's just something I do. You don't have to do that, but soak them overnight. And then I put them into the buckets and I'm waiting for the weather to change. That's all. Let's see. Let's see. A part urine and 10 parts water. Wait a minute. That sounds like my recipe. That sounds like my recipe. I know I didn't create it, but I used to always tell people urine is a great fertilizer. Urine is a great fertilizer, especially if you're growing stuff like corn. Because like if you bought urea in a bag, that's like 46% nitrogen, and the other two numbers are 0, 0. Yep. Because if you buy blood meal, that's like 12% nitrogen. But here's the deal. Whenever you use blood meal, you got to pay for that stuff. It's high as I don't know what. Oh my goodness, I got to tell you folks something. When I go to the stores now, I do not go in Home Depot or Lowe's to actually buy anything. Human urine, yes, human urine. Human urine is the key. It's the key. It's embarrassing to bring it outside and let your neighbors see it. You bring it in a container where they can't look through it. You mix 1 part urine to 10 parts water. And it was a Korean lady. She was using a pot with a handle on it. She would dip it and pour it right down at the base of the plants, or she would put it in a rain. What they call that thing? A watering can. She would do that. But I gotta tell you, I'm gonna tell you what I did one time. I put it in a hose sprayer, pure concentrated hose sprayer, and I darkened out the outside of it so no one could see what was in it. And then I set the setting that was on top. Any of you know what I'm talking about? The hose sprayer. I set it to its lowest setting. Reason why? Because you don't want to overdo it with any kind of fertilizer. It is better to under fertilize. Stay with me now, folks. It is better to under fertilize than it is to over fertilize. When I see a container and it says 2 teaspoons of fertilizer per plant, let's say for instance, I'm using that as an example, then I will go 1 tablespoon. I'm not putting 2 on there because they want me to use up the fertilizer so I can go buy some more fertilizer. I want to use the fertilizer sparingly because it's better to put less in there. It's just safer. Yeah, I mean that's what you want to do. Now, I went to the store. I think I can show you this right here. I'm gonna show you this. Now, usually, let's keep things honest here. Agree. Okay. Thank you very much. Plant abundance. I'm gonna go check out some of your videos tonight too. Here's the deal. See this right here? I went to Home Depot in the dead of winter when all the bags of what they call them things, compost was frozen solid, like a block of ice. That's when I go get my stuff. These were clearanced. Now this has been used. Of course, you can see that it's been used. This was 3 pounds. Feeds up to 2 months. Man, that ain't nothing to brag about. Organic and natural. All-purpose plant food here. Here's the deal. These usually go for about if you go get them right now, because we're getting ready to come in the spring. Let's say $8. I was getting them for $1 a bag. Folks, I was getting these for $1 a bag. $1. 3 pounds of, and I had to get them. I had to get them. They were calling me. Other great tips. They blow out fertilizer every year. Timing. Okay, okay. I'm telling you, $1 a bag. You know that flatbed that they use at the stores to haul around lumber and materials on like that? I had to go get that because I walked back. You should have saw me. When I looked up at the shelf, I saw the yellow sticker or orange sticker. I said, hold up. I said, this can't be right. And then I thought about it in the dead of winter, I went up there. I took every single one that was on the shelf. I took every single bag that was on the shelf. I gave the woman a credit card, and I think it was probably close to $100 worth of bags I had on there. I loaded these things up in my car. It was in the Jeep. The back of the Jeep was full. The back seat was full. The front seat was full, and I got them home. I had no place to really put these at when I got home. I cleared everything off of the shelves in the mudroom, and I stacked them to where I couldn't even stack them without them falling. Then the very next day, I went back to the store. I said, well, there's no more bags there. And I said, and what I'm gonna do is yeah, nice haul, thank you. And I went back there. Don't tell me they did it again. They had another section that the worker told me. He said, listen, go over there, he said, and check the clearance section. I went over there. They had big bags that were 5-pound bags. I don't have one in front of me right now because they're all down, they're all stacked up on shelving. I went down there. I ran and got me a cart. And I loaded the cart up. They were $2 a bag. They were once $13 a bag. And I loaded those suckers up. And I took them home. They were all, and this time I took the town car. So I had to be mindful of that. But I loaded that car up. And you know how big a town car trunk is. I loaded that town car trunk up to where the car kind of sat down in the back a little bit. I said, oh my goodness. And then I made it on home. And I said to myself, all right, that's enough. That is absolutely enough. I cannot do this again. But I love a bargain. And I said, wait a minute, I could sell these. That idea came into my mind. Because once the weather breaks, you can't use all that. You can't use all that fertilizer unless you just take years and years and years, And I said, oh my goodness. So I said, Morning Gardener Show. That's what I call myself. Morning Gardener. I said, you got grapevines, you got apple trees, pear trees, plum trees, peaches, cherries too. And I lost rest in peace. I lost my what they call it plant. It's called oh God, what's that fruit that's got hair on it? Not a peach, a kiwi. I lost my kiwi this year after I had it all those years. I lost it. And then again, I don't know if I actually lost it. I want to go back there when the weather changes to see if it'll come up again, because sometimes a plant will fool you. You think it's dead and it's not dead. I remember that kiwi plant. I bought it on back during that time. I bought it on eBay for $12. I couldn't believe the plant was that big. I said $12 when I got it. When I finally got it, it was taped to a box. He did a real good job taping it up so it wouldn't, the soil wouldn't fall out. He had it taped up. He flipped it upside down and threw it in the truck. It still would be intact. At any rate, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. It came to the house, and first it was dying. I kept doing things to it and saying, "Well, all right," and then something saying, "Why don't you read up on this plant and see what its needs are? I know you know how to garden, but read up on this particular plant because you never grew it before." So I said, "Okay." I read everything that I can get my hands on, and it was this little round kiwis, and that son of a gun waited to the second year, and it actually started producing kiwis, and I was so happy. I didn't have nothing to put it on, so I stood a wooden ladder up that I built out of 2x4s, and I wrapped the vine around it and everything. But I got mad because I said, "Wait a minute, you planted this plant in a shaded area, and it says clearly can stand some shade, but prefers sunlight." And instead of me digging it out and moving it, I didn't do that. I did not do that. I see. I tried a cold hardy. Uh, Unfortunately, they didn't work out for me. Oh my goodness, yep, you ran into the same problem I ran into. Let me show you. Let me show you something else, folks. Let me just be patient with me. I got this. Wait a minute, who's this right here? Nature Nine and Family. Hello, hello. All right, let me go do this. I don't move as fast as I used to because these shoes are too tight. Okay, I'm back. Okay, here's what I got. All right, let me tell you what. I put a video up because it's crazy what they're doing now. I went to Home Depot. They brought in some plants, uh, grapevines, blackberries, raspberries, that sort of thing. All of them in the boxes. Not even, and hear me out, folks. I want you to hear this. Not even the tip of the plant was sticking above the bag in the box. They picked these son of a guns early to where they wasn't even sticking out of the box. I happened to rifle through them, and I found one that had this much sticking out of the box. They wanted we might as well say $11 for it. $11 for it. And it had no green on it when I bought it. I took a chance like I don't know what. It had no green on it whatsoever. And I looked at the soil that they had in there. It looked like they loaded these up real quick because that root ball was not. Let's see. Hello, my fellow gardeners. All right. This is what I got here now. This particular variety that's sold at Home Depot, not advertising for them. I wouldn't do that for them. It says self-pollinating. Self-pollinating. It got my attention. One plant is in here. That's what it indicates. And you could take these and make cuttings out of them and get them grown up real nice. Don't sell it like they're doing it like this. Don't do that. Grow them up probably like this. And then, $5 a plant, whatever. And you could sell these. Kiwi. And you can look at those and tell those are good. And they're actually, quote unquote, sweeter than the ones in the grocery store. They have more vitamin C than oranges. That's kiwi. This one plant at maturity can produce probably up to 200 pounds of fruit once it's mature. It has that ability to do that if you know how to take care of it. This plant that they put together, let's say spacing, let's say 8 feet. Harvest time. Well, let's see what we got here. Harvest time is in early summer and fall. Hardiness zone. This is a hardiness zone. Now, plant abundant. What zone are you in? Because this particular one here, I don't know which one you had, but folks, I want to put that out there with you as well. This particular plant says hardiness zone is you need a male and a female. No. Okay, 9B. It says here on the box here, it says self-pollinating. Self-pollinating, this particular one. And most of them, you're right, they do need male and female. But this one here, the reason why I got it is because it only needs, okay, nice. Yeah, this right here, it only needs just that one plant. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want 2 plants out there and all the craziness and big vines and growth everywhere. Let's see. So this here says hardiness zone 4 and 8, between 4 and 8. I'm in zone 7, so I'm good there. And here's again, it says it right here. That's the mistake I made with the other plant. It says here, position, full sun. Average size, this is average. 20, oh my goodness, to 25 feet. That's okay. As long as I got me a pair of secateurs, I can keep it down with the size I want it. Spacing, 8 feet. Now here's what I did. I got one of them, the clotheslines that's out like this. I got chicken wire strung from it down to the ground, and it's going to grow up through that chicken wire. And the chicken wire is a heavy material that let me get it right now. The material that the chicken wire is great because it won't rust, and that's what I bought. I bought the kind that won't rust. Let's see. Is that kiwi a vine or a? It is a vine. It is a vine. Yes. And it's sold at Home Depot, and I got it because you want kiwi on your property. You want the sweet taste of kiwi, and it doesn't have a lot of problems with also disease. It doesn't have a lot of problem with disease. That's another thing I liked about kiwi. And you can see, since I got it to produce some leaves. Those leaves were not on there when I first got it. And so what I'm feeding it now is a half dose of fish emulsion. It's in the box. I do not trust that Walmart, or excuse me, that Home Depot fed this plant properly. This plant will get something to eat once a week, and it will be fish emulsion until it goes into the ground. Once a week, half dosage. It will not get a whole bunch of oh, wait a minute, if a little bit's good, then a lot must be better. I'm going to pour all of this in there, and the plant's going to grow like crazy. I don't do that. You can do a lot of damage to plants by overfeeding. Follow the direction on the box or the container, and just do it always at half strength. That's how you want to do it. Half strength. And you'll see the difference. The only thing you can put on your garden at full strength is compost. Worm castings. Here's where I get a little confused, folks. A lot of people tell me worm castings, and they'll go out and buy a bag of worm castings. They'll buy a bag of worm castings. Hell, I almost did it one time. Buy a bag of worm castings. But here's what I found out. Those big 800-900 pounds of wood chips that are on my property got worms that's crawling all through that pile. Do you think that those worms, when they got to go to the restroom, leave the pile and say, wait a minute, I'll be back. I got to go to the restroom. No, they don't do that. They go right there in the pile. So when you scoop up that black, looks like soil, you're scooping up compost and worm casings, the worm droppings, the worm poo, however you want to call it. You're also adding that to your garden, and it is free. Let's see. At the vineyard, uh, 15 maybe that's post, but you have the vine. Okay, okay. I'm just trying to get through this right here. Exactly, got your own worm castings. Yeah, yeah. Compost is usually full of worm castings. It's usually full of worm. You don't need it. They got a lot of us all confused. Everybody's doing what. Um, a lot of times they see these videos, and these videos are going back and forth. And some of the videos are misinformation. They don't mean to give you bad information, but some of them put the video out there because they want to get paid for the video, and they put it out there, and they'll say you must do this to a tomato, and you must do that to a carrot, and that's not how it goes. There are all kind of ways to grow tomatoes, all kind of ways to grow potatoes. Roots stout method is a very popular way of growing, for instance, um, potatoes. It's less work. They come out cleaner. I have used it. I just don't grow a lot of potatoes. Some of the potatoes that you get from the grocery store, they're not the best choice potatoes to actually purchase because they don't taste as good as some of the potatoes that you can buy, Yukon Gold and things like that. And there's a list of other ones that you buy when you buy seed potatoes. You do not get those really good tasting potatoes at the grocery store. You can tolerate the ones at the grocery store, but if you actually start growing your own potatoes, you will be absolutely amazed how good potatoes taste. If you've never um, uh, grew your own potatoes, I could probably start night crawlers farm if I wanted. Uh, yeah, yeah. Let me tell you what I did with night crawlers, and I like that you brought that up. I had a big pile of compost over in the corner. I had three piles actually, big, huge piles. I would go fishing, and when I had worms left over that was night crawlers, I would add them to my compost pile. All right, so I did that like 2, 3 times. No big deal. 6 worms here, 5 worms there, uh, 4 worms there. Months went by, and then one day I started using the compost. I saw night crawlers in that pile that would make you jump back when you are digging in it because that's how big those worms were. They were in the pile and they were all throughout the pile. But here's what they did. I added other worms in there called a red wiggler. The red wiggler stayed, all of them stayed closer to the top. The nightcrawler stayed mostly in the middle and the bottom. That's what I want to say about that. And they were big worms. I would take them. I said, wait a minute, if I got all these worms in here, um, I'm getting these worms. These are my worms that I put in there from when I bought them at Walmart. These are my worms. They just went in this pile, gorged themselves, laid eggs, grew these eggs out, and it was just incredible. So when that took place, I was one happy camper because I understood that I could grow my own worms as well. And I didn't need to put them in a box and all of that. I just simply made sure the pile stayed uh, undisturbed until I needed to get some for, something for the garden. And even though I scooped them out, the only thing I hated was sometimes my big night crawlers would get cut in half with the shovel when I'm going through the pile. It's the only thing I didn't like. I did not like that part of it. These were some of the biggest worms. Walmart couldn't sell you them worms for fishing that big because they won't really fit on the hook unless you're using a catfish hook. But I got to tell you, folks, um, I had a good time. I had a good time. When you're using compost, there is no there is no greater fertilizer for your crops. There is no greater fertilizer. And if you want, um, let me show you something here. And y'all already know about this, but I'm gonna just show you what I did. Okay, these are paint strainer bags, and a 5 gallon. This is a 5 gallon bucket. You fill it halfway up, or a certain amount, and you put in here of compost, and then you drop it into a bucket of water. Now, the bucket of water is a certain way you do that. If you're using rainwater, you just go automatically drop it in there. But if you're using water from your house and it's from the city, you want to let that water sit for 24 hours and let it all the chemicals evaporate from it. Then you want to take a bag of compost, tie it up, and then drop it down into the bucket. Let that sit there for about 2 or 3 days, and you don't have to. You can put a bubble in there if you want to. That's up to you. If you got the BG&E or gas and electric money, go ahead and let it bubble. But I don't let it bubble. I just sit there and let nature take its course. Take the bag out, or take a certain wait about 3 days, and then I pour 1% into a water can, and then 10% into excuse me, sorry, 1 part to 10 parts water, and then I go ahead and water everything in. I'm gonna tell you something. You want to see some plants get dark, dark, dark green. That compost tea is the deal. Compost tea is the deal. Improving your soil. Improving your soil. Go out into the forest, uh, around some of those old rotten logs and everything. Pick up some of get you a little tool to scoop out some of that soil. Take some of that soil and scoop it up and add it to your soil at home. Add some to your compost pile, and guess what? You're now adding more diversity to your soil. You add more diversity to your soil, and it will improve your soil. Compost tea, you just don't want to drink it. But if you put it on plants, they grow like they're crazy. They grow like they're crazy. Compost tea. And they don't want you to know this at these professional uh, 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 nurseries. They want you to come there and buy these big bags of fertilizer for $15, $18. They want you to buy those. Um, they're not going to tell you that, something. If you went and created your own compost pile with leaves and grass clippings, you're going to be ahead of the game. But don't use grass clipping that's ever been sprayed. Don't, because my grass, when I use it, it's never been sprayed. My neighbor across the street cuts his grass on a regular. I will not use his grass clippings because he does use certain chemicals to keep weeds out of his grass. Me, I no use that. I no use that at all. I say I have my own compost bin for years. That's a smart move there. Me, I'm on the cheap side, ma'am. I'm on the cheap side, okay? I'm on the cheap side. I'll pile it up in the area of my property where it doesn't get a lot of sun at. I'll pile it up there and leave it. And just leave it like it's been a stepchild. Just leave it. And when I leave it there, sometimes I'll wait 6 months and I'll go use it, depending on what the material is. If it's leaves, I can use it in 6 months. If it's wood chips, it's going to take about a year. But I'll tell you, there's nothing greater than a compost pile. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This is The Morning Gardener.